God is not controlling. No matter where we look in the Bible. And we're going to look at some other stories in here, some other things that we're going to look at. But the basic thing of what we want to look at this morning, and those that haven't been in any of the Revelation studies, while we go through Revelation, I want to concentrate more on today and what we can get out of it, what we can study, what it means to us now as we look at it. And this chapter 10 is where we're going to be at. We're going to look at the whole chapter this morning. And I believe that it is a perfect picture of what I'm wanting to teach when it comes to the wilderness journey. That no matter how bad it looks, no matter how terrible things seem to be, God is still in control. That He, I think sometimes we get this picture in our mind that Satan is just running everything around. That look at our country, at the shape that our country's in, is how Satan is leading our country. Listen, Satan can't do any more than God allows him. Right? Satan can't do anything in your life that God doesn't allow him to happen. And we need to remember that. And so if God, and man, this is hard to deal with now. I'll just tell you, I'm honest enough to say this. It's hard when you're going through some things to say, well, this is for the best. This is for my good. God is really looking out for me. I mean, I want to, come on, God, now. Getting a little bit rough here, brother. But to remember that no matter what we go through, no matter what's happening in the world, when we look at all the election stuff and all the things that's taking place across the world, the terrorism, the storms, the fires, all these things that's taking place, but God is still in control. God is still in charge of everything that's taking place. And everything that happens is for His betterment, His plan. Preacher's favorite verse, Romans 8:28. All things, not some things, all things work for the good. So as we look through this, just kind of a catch-up. We're in chapter 10, and the reason why I'm going to go ahead and do these last two lessons, it finishes up the book. We'll be done halfway through. And we'll probably come back to this later on. But I feel like God is leading us in this other direction right now. But we're going to take a couple of weeks. I want to wait the first of the year because I want to keep a good flow going with it. I don't want to break up a lot of stuff. But we find ourselves in a what we call a parenthetical area, again, a parenthesis. Remember when we done these 7 seals, between the 6th and 7th seal, there was a parenthesis. And we'll look at that. Let's go ahead and read the verses real quick. The whole chapter, it's not that long, it's only 11 verses. Brother Eddie, if you'll read it for us, please, sir.
And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head. And his face was as it were the sun, and his feet pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open. And he set his right foot upon the sea, and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice. And when a lion roareth, and when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and sware by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven, and the things that therein are, and the earth, and the things that therein are, and the sea, and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. But in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again, and said, Go and take the little book, which is open in the hand of the angel which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel, and said unto him, Give me the little book. And he said unto me, Take it, and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, Thou must prophesy again before many people, and nations, and tongues, and kings.
Amen. I like the way Eddie reads. He goes an extra little emphasis on that word. You got tongue tangled there a little bit. I was looking at thundering voices. And again, when we look at it, I understand there's a lot of different views. There really is, it's not about the views that I want to look at. It's about how it affects us today. I want us to realize that God is in control. So let's remember that as we read the divine interlude. The parenthesis in between there. Let me read this. The parenthesis between the sixth and seventh trumpet does the same thing as when it is used as a parenthesis in writing. It conveys a necessary information that is not part of the flow of the immediate narrative. Now, let me give you an example. Me and Eddie drove from here to Gastonia. Okay, that's a statement of what we're doing. In parenthesis, man, we was listening to some good music. Had nothing to do with the fact we were going to Gastonia. It's just something that was taking place in the midst of that. And that's what these are doing. It's not. It's hard for me to tell what me and Eddie was doing in the car at the same time. What was going on outside the car? It just reads. It gets complicated, and I know Revelation gets really, really complicated. It does. Again, I don't want us to dwell on so much the prophecy as much as what we get out of it now. What we get out of it now. Just for recap, the last chapter that we studied was the sixth trumpet. You'll notice that there's one of these parentheses between the sixth and seventh seal. If y'all remember, there was in here before. There is a parenthesis between the sixth and seventh trumpet. And there's a parenthesis between the sixth and seventh bowl, which we'll get to at another time. The seventh seal consists of these seven trumpets. The seventh trumpet consists of the seven bowls. So we're all still under the seventh seal. We just finished up the sixth trumpet. If you remember, the sixth trumpet, we talked about the 200 million man army. We looked at that number. It was not just a number that John threw out there. It wasn't something that he just kind of estimated what it was. He said, God said, he said, I heard it. Not only did I see it, they told me this is the number. This is going to be a 200 million man army that will take place. In World War II, there was not even a close number to that of all armies put together. Never in the history of man has there ever been a 200 million man army. Not even the capabilities of it. There is now. China at any time could pull up 200 million man army at any time. It could happen. We have stopped there. They have went throughout. They've caused chaos. People that are reading this, I'm sure in the biblical days all the way through, are thinking, man, this is just crazy. All this destruction that's taking place. Remember, John wrote these to the churches. And he's telling the churches this is what's going to take place. And I can imagine it would be like us watching the news and sitting back going, man, things are just terrible. Ah, it's awful. And he stops and he gives them just a little bit of hope. The parenthesis of chapter 10 is a message from heaven that reveals grace in the midst of judgment on earth. So real quick, let's look at the messenger from heaven. In his vision, John sees a messenger descending from heaven who brings a message of hope to the earth, a beam of light that pierces the dark days of judgment. So the descent of this messenger from heaven, first of all, you'll notice that it was a good angel. Now, those that were here through the past studies, we talked about the four angels that were standing at the fourth angel. Those are not very good angels. This is a good angel from heaven, not a fallen angel. This is the third time we've met this angel. If you look over in 7:2 and 8:5, we see this angel again. And there's a lot, another one of those things in Revelation that has a whole lot of debate over who this angel is. I believe it's Jesus Christ himself. And I'll show you why in just a second. Again, I believe that the tribulation is about the children of Israel. And all through the Bible, God often visited Israel in the person of the angel of Jehovah. If you want to write some of these down, you can. Genesis 18:1, Genesis 19:1, Exodus 3:2, Judges 2:4, 6, 11 to 12, 21 and 22, 2 Samuel 24:6. All these were, theophanies of the pre-existent Christ. So it wouldn't seem all that strange that he would show up during the tribulation for the children of Israel. This was a common occurrence that Christ did. So let's look at, when we read John's description of the angel, to me it confirms the fact that this is who it is. So let's look at this. First of all, he's clothed with a cloud. We read that in there. The angel is robed in that which is always associated with deity, cloud. Some examples. Mount Sinai, God came down in a thick cloud, Exodus 19:9. He led the Israelites through the desert in a cloud, Exodus 16:10. When he spoke with Moses, it was in a cloud, Exodus 24:15, 34:5. When Christ ascended to heaven, it was in a cloud. Y'all remember that? And when he returns, the Bible says in Revelation 1:5, it'll be in a cloud. And I like this verse over in Psalms 104:3. The Bible says that the clouds are the chariots of God. Are the chariots of God. One clue. Crowned with a rainbow. The rainbow of the angel's head reminds us of the rainbow associated with the throne of God. Y'all remember we looked at that. The throne of God surrounded by a green rainbow representing grace. Rainbow not meaning multicolors. Just a rainbow surrounded the throne that was green. When we read through that. As well as the rainbow which was God's promise never to destroy the world again through a flood. The angel's rainbow suggests that he has come from the presence of God. Third point, covered with glory. The angel's shining face fits the face of Jesus Christ, Matthew 17:2, Acts 26:13, Revelation 1:16. Malachi 4:2 even refers to the Lord as the Son of Righteousness. Also, feet like pillars of fire. We remember that from over in chapter 1. Like fine brass as refined in a furnace. To me, that tells me this is who it is. I believe it pretty well lays it out. Now, when we get over some places, some of the arguments that I heard really didn't make a lot of sense, but it does if you don't read it and study it out. So we're going to look at a couple of those. But right now, we'll look at the deeds of this messenger. What did he do? This messenger from heaven. He's holding a little book or a scroll in his hand. We read that. Those that have been with us, y'all know about the book. God put the book in Christ's hand. He opened the seals. The seals are open. All 7 seals are open now. I believe this is the same book. In the Greek language of verse 2, the word opened is in the emphatic sense. For those of you who are Facebook people, that means it was written in all caps. It was real important. You need to really pay attention to this. This is Facebook. I'm trying to speak y'all's language a little bit so y'all know where we're coming from. Got to be in all caps. All right. He's holding the book again, one that is open. He had in his hand a little book open, and he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth, cried with a loud voice as when a lion roareth. He's holding the open book. He's standing on the sea and on the earth. And let me tell you, I'll tell you what he says, and let me tell you what speaks to me with this part of this. This is just Marty. His stance is a picture of his sovereignty over all the earth. And the book, a sign of his right to possess the earth as ruler over it. We went into that. I don't want to go back through that again. His message is one of reassurance and comfort. Do not fear. I am in control. And when I picture this statement of Christ, 1 foot on the sea and 1 foot on the land, I picture that as Christ having 1 foot on the whole world, but also having a foot on me. And while He is in control of everything that we see, from the rain outside, to the fires that took place, to the winds that blow, to everything that you see around you happening, He's in control of me too. He controls all my circumstances and all my feelings, everything that I go through. God is in control of that. Crying with a loud voice is a lion. His voice matches his appearance. Often in Scripture, the voice of a lion is associated with the voice of a ruler. Proverbs and Joel both talk of that. Even Satan, in his fake rule as a ruler, remember it says, he came as a roaring lion, or goes about like a roaring lion. This angel is the same as the Lion of the tribe of Judah, whom we met in Revelation 5:5. It's the same angel. So we figured out who this messenger is, what he's doing. Now let's look at what message is. And this is really what we want to get into. This mighty divine angel from heaven takes a posture of authority and roars like a lion, and is immediately answered by 7 thunders reverberating across the earth. And when he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. And man, you wouldn't believe the folk on the internet and on YouTube and all these things. They know what them 7 thunders uttered. I'm like, no, you do not. Because God just said seal it up. We can guesstimate and we can try to guess at it and try to come up with some kind of idea. But if God sealed it up, you ain't going to find out what it is. Why do you think we special? God sealed it up. One day we'll know. One day we'll know. And I was talking about God's voice and the power of God's voice. And I kept reading this and come up with a couple of scriptures. Job 37. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he which we cannot comprehend. I can imagine, I would love to have been able to be there when God said, let there be light. And he spoke it with such authority that light appeared. Everything he said happened. And when you go through these 7 thunders of the voices, I found this comparison with David Jeremiah, and I thought it was kind of neat. Over in Psalms 29, there are 7 descriptions of the voice of the Lord. Let's look at these real quick. The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. Come on in, bro. The voice of the Lord is upon the waters. The God of glory thundereth. The Lord is upon many waters. The voice of the Lord is powerful. The voice of the Lord is full of majesty. The voice of the Lord breaketh the cedars. Yea, the Lord breaketh the cedars of Lebanon. He maketh them also to skip like a calf. He makes trees skip like a calf. Just his voice speaking. Now listen, I don't know about y'all, when I was a kid, you could have 100 people in a room. Daddy spoke, I heard it. Especially if I knew I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing. And I can say this with all certainty. My mama was choir director for years and years and years. And I can remember sitting back on the back 3 rows back there with the rest of the young people. We'd be cutting up, talking, passing notes, and doing stuff we wasn't supposed to be doing. The whole church could be singing. People would be shouting, praising the Lord. Mama would be up here and she'd go, and brother, I knew right then. You heard that voice, boy, you was in trouble. Imagine what the voice of the Lord was saying. What his voice can accomplish. He maketh them also to skip like a calf, Lebanon and Syrian like a young unicorn. The voice of the Lord divideth the flames of fire. The voice of the Lord shaketh the wilderness. The Lord shaketh the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of the Lord maketh the hinds to calve, and discovereth the forest. And in his temple doth everyone speak of his glory. Voice of the Lord. The message that he gives is a powerful, powerful message. But it's a sealed up message. We looked at that in verse 4. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write. Now remember, when John's sitting down here, he's telling John to write all this stuff that he's seen. John hears this, and I can see him just sitting there trying to write and trying to keep up, and going on, and he hears this and goes, ooh, that's a good one there. And God said, hold. I heard a voice from heaven saying to me, seal up those things which the seven thunders uttered, and write them down. People like us be like, come on, God, let me tell them that one. That's a good one. Let me get to me right there. God said, seal that up. We don't know why. It's ridiculous to try to figure out why. God sealed it up for a reason. And then we get to the sworn message, and here's where a lot of controversy comes in, a lot of conflict. People trying to figure out, because they say, well, if it's God, why would he swear by God? That don't make much sense. It'd be a weird thing, wouldn't it? If it was the Lord, why would he swear by the Lord? But he's done it before. He's done it before. The angel which I saw stand upon the sea and the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. You got to remember this. He's standing 1 foot on the land, 1 foot. He said, everything you see, everything in the sea, everything in the land, all this stuff by the one who created all of it. That's who I'm swearing by. You say, I don't make no sense. Why would he swear by himself? But in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when we shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. I'm trying to get this one verse. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 13. Y'all remember this? For when God made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself. See, we can say, oh, I swear to God. We ain't supposed to do that. That's what the Bible says. I've said it over many times. God says, who am I going to swear by? I'm greater than everything that you can swear by. I'll swear by myself. And so he says, I'm swearing by everything that I am and everything that I've created and everything that you see, that this is true. Go back up there. This thing is working so slow. That there should be time no longer. Y'all remember, we read back over a little ways where those were under the altar said, Lord, how long we got to wait? How long do you take care of all this stuff? How long do you cause vengeance on all these people? God said, now's the time. He said, in the days of the voice of the seventh angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he hath declared to his servants. Everything I've told you all these years, from Elijah to Malachi to John, all these prophets, and all these things that we've told you ahead of time. Now you're going to see it. Everything's going to be made clear. No more mystery. What the mystery of God is a mystery to us. It's been God's plan all along. He said, everything you've wondered about, everything that didn't make sense to you, now you understand. Now you understand. It wasn't just some haphazard thing. This has been my plan all along. I told you thousands of years ago this is going to take place. And now you see that all this time I was in control. I did this. I controlled this. I knew all this was going to happen. It's all part of the plan. Every bit of it. Even when it didn't look like that I was in the midst of it. It looked like Satan was just doing his own thing. I was in control. I can't help but remind you. And some things are a whole lot easier to say than to do. And when we start this study in the wilderness journeys, first of the year, you'll hear it a lot. But it's so hard to go through something and praise God for it. I mean, some people might try to sugarcoat everything and try to tell you everything's going to be nice and easy. But listen, if you're a Christian, you're going to go through some stuff. You're going to go through some things where you're going to lay your head down on your pillow at night and say, instead of saying, God, I thank you for a beautiful day, you're going to lay down and say, God, what in the world is going on? If you're anything like me, you will anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Miss Jackie. There's going to be times in our life when we're going to go through stuff and we're going to say, Lord, where are you at? And He is telling us, in the midst of all this judgment that's taking place and all these things, we're going to go through the 7 seals and the 7 trumpets. We just finished that. Man, we have seen destruction like you've never seen. We've seen pain and persecution and all this stuff going on. And God stops. He says, hold on just a minute. He said, let me just remind you one thing. I'm in control. Even though it looks like all hell is broken loose, I am in control. There is nothing that is going on that I'm not allowing to happen. Nothing. Nothing in your life will take place without God allowing it to happen. That's the message. To me, that is the message of Revelation 10. And I believe when they were reading these letters and they were seeing all the destruction and all the pain and all the suffering and all the things that was going on, and God said, listen, I believe they were fearful. We ain't impressed no more. We got phones we can carry around in our pockets and talk to people. If they work half the time. Some people don't answer half the time. They don't say no name preacher. But we ain't impressed. Nothing impresses us. Who was one of the comedians or something talking about, nothing gets our attention hardly anymore. Said, you watch the news, it says, a bus with 200 people in Indonesia went off a cliff and all of them perished. He was like, wow! How'd they get that many people on the bus? They ain't worried about all the people dying. We're not impressed anymore. But these people back in these days were impressed, man. Wow, this stuff's really 200 million man army. Mountains falling from all these things that they're talking about. And they're saying, oh man. But God says, hold on though. I got this. I got you. I'm in control. Nothing you see, nothing you face is out of my control. So the mandate from heaven. John is for the first time asked to play a part in one of the visions that are unfolding before him. And it's a strange part, so we know. And the voice which I heard from heaven spake unto me again and said, go and take the little book which is open in the hand of the angel, which standeth upon the sea and upon the earth. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. He said unto me, take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. And it was in my mouth sweet as honey, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. He said, take the book and eat it. That sounds a little bit weird. He wasn't talking about a physical, taking a book and chewing it up and swallowing it. He was talking about consuming the book. Taking this book and getting it all inside of you. We talked about that here lately. I can take my Bible over here and I can read it all day long and I can get all the scriptures out of it. I can know it from Genesis to Revelation and I can have it all memorized and quote every bit of it. But if I don't have it inside of me, I got to get it in me. It's got to be part of me. And he tells John, he says, listen, I want you to eat this book. Boy, this prophecy, man, it's going to be sweet to your lips. Man, it's going to taste good. Because you know what? I know where I'm going. I know who's got me in the palm of their hand. I know who is in control. And so this prophecy that I read, man, it's sweet. He said, but when you digest it, it's going to become bitter. I believe it's because of those people who are not in Christ. See, judgment's great as long as it ain't on you. Judgment's okay, man. Listen, it was all right that he's in a bad mood as long as he was whipping Tracy. I was cool with that. He ain't in a bad mood, don't bother me. He was taking down on Tracy. I was standing in my room playing my Atari. So y'all know what I'm talking about. I sit there playing my Atari. I had a good time listening to her there crying and whining because he was whooping her tail. I thought it was fun. But boy, when he come knocking on my door, woo, things wasn't too happy no more. When my wife gets sick, it bothers me because I love my wife. When my mom had to have all that surgery and was laid up, suffering, and going through all this stuff, it bothered me because I love my mom. And if we love our brothers and our sisters, then as sweet as this judgment should taste to us, what about our brothers and our sisters? Our aunts, our uncles, our grandparents, our parents, our neighbors, our fellow co-workers, and all these people. Shouldn't it be a little bit bitter to us for them? Shouldn't that be a concern for us? John is warned not to preach this message of judgment unless he has assimilated it into his own life. Passively, we preach about judgment when it ought to bring tears to our eyes. Oh, we all excited about heaven. We talked about that. Remember a few weeks ago we preached on a day to remember, a day to forget. And heaven's going to be great. We'd be so excited about heaven. But we can't preach heaven without talking about hell. We can't do it. Oh, we can. There are a lot of churches that do. But he says if you have put this in your system, and you have devoured this prophecy, and you have devoured this word, you will not preach without telling both sides. As heaven is as sweet as it can be, you need to know how bitter hell is. And in order to twist your stomach when you think about those in your life that could go ahead. You may not be a preacher or even a teacher, but if you're a mom, or a dad, or an employer, or an associate, or a friend, then the word that came to John is for you. When you share the gospel with others, make sure that you share the whole gospel. The only way to make sure you'll speak it all is to digest it first. How can I tell you about something I don't know? Well, I can tell, Brother Ed, how sweet heaven's going to be and how wonderful Savior Jesus is. I got to tell you also how righteous He is. He is a God of judgment. And how wonderful it'll be if you get saved. But listen, brother, if you don't, you need to understand the other side of the spectrum. And that's what Jesus told John. Get this in your system. Because you got to prophesy again. You got to go out here and start telling nations, tongues, kings, and many peoples. You got to tell everybody about this, but you need to get this in your system before you go tell anybody. Digest it. Get it in your system. Get this word. Put it inside of you. Digest it. Don't just read it. Digest it. Eat it up, as the Bible says. Get that stuff within you. And I don't believe you'll have a problem telling anybody about it once you get inside of it. You'll want to tell somebody about it. One, you want to share how the joys of heaven is going to be. Two, you're worried about those people that's not saved. You're worried about your friends and your loved ones that's not saved. You're worried about them people. You get in this word, I hope hope it scares the living fool out of you. Not just for you, but for your loved ones. That's what you need to do. Digest this word and understand that God is in control of everything. God's in control. Next week, we'll finish up this book. Then we'll